Live from WZBC Newton, it is time for First Stop, 9 a.m. Saturday here at Boston College. We have a jam-packed show for you today.
Yes, Jacob, we do. In this episode, some highlights include some interesting headlines from the world around us, a newborn baby from the royal family,
There you go.
and a top 5, bottom 5
There you
for
go.
sports
It's a new
projections.
segment.
Let's start with sports. Jacob, lead us off.
Alrighty, so for today's sports segment, I'm introducing a new topic experience. We're doing top 5, bottom 5. I'm breaking down the top 5 teams in the NBA and the bottom 5 teams in the NBA. Starting off with the worst teams in the NBA, the 25th position, I'm projecting the Detroit Pistons. I was debating with Erik if I should do Pistons or Cavaliers.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough debate.
So what were you saying? Your argument for the Cavaliers, and I ultimately sided with you. What were you thinking?
So it was before, obviously, game last night where we just did not do well.
Yeah.
I thought our core was much better than some of the teams you have up here. I thought it was kind of an embarrassment to say that they're the bottom 5 teams. I think they're mid-pack. I'm not saying they're anywhere near top 10 or top 5, but I think they're more bottom pack, not bottom 5.
Yeah.
Colin Sexton looks very promising. He had a few touches last night, a few looks. Kevin Love is a very solid player. He's going to hopefully fill the role of LeBron, which I don't think he can, but he's going to try.
Yeah. I think it's tough because with the Cavaliers, you have at least one, I would say, B grade player in Kevin Love.
Yeah.
And I think that's all you need to at least be a, not bottom team, but like middle of the road average team.
Yeah.
So you have Kevin Love, so he'll be an average player. I don't think he's the same Kevin Love we had in Minnesota.
Probably not.
But he'll get a few more touches.
But then again, 2016 Kevin Love was unreal. I mean,
That's true.
His finals performance was just awesome, and then his regular season performance was awesome. So
yeah.
I think he's had a great past. We also have we also have like J.R. Smith, Chetty Osman actually put in a lot of work in the postseason.
Really? Okay.
He's looking very, very strong and solid. Obviously, we'll take what we can get. Tristan Thompson as a power forward he's a very strong defensive player.
Yeah,
I think one of our best. And then obviously my favorite, Kyle Korver.
Yes.
Hits the most difficult shots but can't make the easiest.
Yeah.
He's an interesting guy. But no, that's what I was saying. I was saying I just don't see how that core who played with LeBron and got to the finals that many times would be in the bottom 5. It's not like we drastically lost. Okay, yeah, we lost LeBron.
Yeah, you lost the best player in the league.
We did, but that doesn't mean that the rest of the core isn't that good. I mean, we still are mid-pack. We're not bottom.
I agree with that because when I was thinking about how the Cavaliers were in the past with and without LeBron, when LeBron left for the Heat and they just had Kyrie, Kyrie was their team. They had nobody else. But you guys got Korver, Tristan, Love. You have at least 3 players who I would say are B grade players.
Yep.
All right, moving on to the 26th spot, I got the New York Knicks. I think they're still developing. Porzingis is, what you're going to get from him. He's a good all-around player. But still, they don't have anybody else in that team who can make a move. Knicks are in the 4th spot. 3rd, Memphis Grizzlies. I do not like the Memphis Grizzlies.
You really don't.
I don't. It's tough because I remember a few years ago they were actually a really good team that were contending. Yeah. And it's funny, they have a pretty similar roster. I mean, they added that great player from Michigan State through the draft. Blanking on his name now. But I still think that they don't have any like big-time assets that are going to lead them there.
Yeah. No, it's... Wait, who did they add? Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, Jaren Jackson Jr. Who's a great player. I think he's going to be a really versatile player in the NBA. But unfortunately, I don't think he's going to carry the Grizzlies to a not even contending, but just like middle-of-the-road team, average team. All right, moving on to the 29th spot. I have the Atlanta Hawks. You could say it's controversial, but I would say Trae Young is not going to be a star that everybody thinks he's going to be in this first year. I was talking about this in podcast number 1 with Baker Mayfield, how everybody hypes up rookies that were great in college. Yeah. I mean, look at Buddy Hield Jr., right? He's in Sacramento right now, and he's not making any noise. Everybody was like, oh, he's the next Stephen Curry. He was also a 4th-year player in Oklahoma who only started getting good his 4th year. So I think you have to take that in mind. Now Trae Young isn't as old as Buddy Hield, but still it's a different game in the NBA, where I feel like in college sports especially, if you have a star on your team, you stand out, and it's a lot easier. But now you're in the big league, the big boys.
Yeah.
Time to step it up, and I don't think it's gonna take him time to adjust. Moving on to the last 30th spot, could probably guess it, the Sacramento Kings. It's tough. They have a lot of great college players, but not NBA players. I think that Marvin Bagley third. I believe in Marvin Bagley third. He's going to be a great player. I think he really stood out at Duke over Grayson Allen. But unfortunately, with that organization, they don't know where they're going with the team, who the star is. Just too many busts, unfortunately, for the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, way too many busts with that.
Many, yeah.
And I real quick, Memphis Grizzlies, my roommate's a huge Memphis Grizzlies fan. I just want to shout out Washti. Happy birthday. His birthday was on Wednesday.
Happy birthday, Washti.
I think he's 20. So happy birthday, Washti. But no, I agree. Sacramento Kings have just really just been, busting up on the scene. It's just been horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I was just really a little bit more triggered by what you were saying about the Cavs.
Yeah. Well, I kind of played with your heart there with the Cavs.
Yeah.
So
now, granted, they did lose last night. Now we're 0-2. So,
that's the other thing is that it's only 3 games in the NBA.
Yeah.
You have teams that are at the top of the conference,
right, like
the Pistons, who would never even be considered at the top of the league.
Right.
As I have in the bottom 5, it's like I would say first 20 games are not a good indicator of how the team's going to perform overall.
Yeah, true. They have to get warmed up.
Yeah, that's right. Alrighty, on to the bottom top five. This list is a little controversial. I'm not going to lie. Everything is controversial. I'm trying to make a statement. That's how you make talk. That's how this podcast gets rolling. 5th spot, Toronto Raptors.
Wow.
I think they're going to be a good team. Kawhi Leonard, unfortunately, he's going to definitely leave after this year.
Yeah.
We have Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
Great, best dual player in the league on defense and offense. He's going to make a really good contribution to that team, I think. And now that LeBron's out west, I believe the Toronto Raptors are going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals.
That's possible. Yeah, because now it's probably going to be Celtics, Raptors, and Sixers. You don't think about the 76ers? You don't think they have a contention?
I don't.
Wow.
That I was saying in my last podcast, I think the 76ers are a second-round exit.
Wow. I don't know.
It's tough because I think in Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, those are 2 stars.
Yeah.
That's, undeniable. But I don't see them getting along. I think when you have stars coming together on teams, there's still a hierarchy there, right?
Yeah,
so
true.
when LeBron went to the Heat, it was LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, down. On the Warriors, it's Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. With Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, I think that they're pretty similar in their star power.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with players like that who know that they're a star, their ego gets in the way. It's going to be tough for them to really share the ball.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I can see
along.
that. Yeah, Joel Embiid is very much a kind of a narcissistic player.
Yeah.
Yeah. His during preseason and obviously during the summer league, he was just kind of very much hogging the ball and just kind of shutting down Mo Bamba all the time. So it was kind of like, okay, I could see that. Yeah.
Even off court, I mean, you look at Joel Embiid, he's a lot more active on social media.
Yeah.
He has a much bigger personality. Ben Simmons is a lot more quiet.
Right.
So I think Joel Embiid is trying to take that spot of, no, I'm the star in Philadelphia over Ben Simmons. So I think Ben Simmons might even leave, honestly.
Yeah.
That's a big take.
That's a hot take. Yeah, that's a hot take.
I'm saying this is future, not this season. I'm saying because I think that as long as the 76ers, or I'm sorry, the Boston Celtics are in contention, which will be for the next 4 years, the 76ers will not be making a move. They're going to be stuck in the Eastern Conference. Yeah. They're not going to be able to get out, and that's when they're going to be like, okay, maybe we need to make some sort of adjustment here.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I could see, though, the 76ers beating the Raptors and going up against the Celtics. I really could. Only because the Raptors saw with Kawhi Leonard, but once he's gone, I mean, the 76ers fill that void.
That's true.
Who in the East fills the void from the Cavs Celtics kind of dichotomy?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone. I think it's going to be a toss-up between the 76ers and the Raptors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
And the Celtics are obviously.
Yes.
Which you'll talk about.
Yeah. Number 4, Los Angeles Lakers. A lot of people have them ranked a lot lower, but you have LeBron on your team. That's an automatic top 5 for me. LeBron's the best player in the league. I would argue best player ever. It's funny. Was it last night's game, right?
Yeah.
They were. I forgot who they're playing, but anyways, LeBron huddled everybody up, and they said, "All right, anytime y'all fall, stay down. Your brother will come pick you up." LeBron knows how to bring players together.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those rare players in the league who is a leader and is a star at the same time, isn't driven by his ego. Unfortunately, I think you think he's driven by his ego.
I do.
But I think he's a really good leader. He distributes the ball well, and that's why I think he's going to make everybody around him better. He's going to raise Brandon Ingram, I think, to like a B+, A- type player, and everybody else to at least a B, B-. And that's why I think the Lakers should be. Now, granted, I don't think they're going to make the finals. I don't think they're going to make the conference finals.
Wow.
But I think they're going to be a second round exit. But they're going to go farther than people think they are.
See, I think the thing with the Lakers is they have such a young core that if you want to talk about power dynamics like we were in the East, LeBron is assuming that hierarchical role of being the top guy. And so now it's like the Cavs all over again.
Yeah.
Where I would argue he didn't distribute the ball well.
Okay.
I think he had a lot of great assists when it comes to finals LeBron, but during regular season, LeBron was a hog. And against the Celtics series this past year, he was a hog. I mean, he how many, what was it close to a 50-point game one time?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He is a very solid player as an individual, but as a team player, I still argue he's not, because you look at how the team just shifts. Now, he's assumed kind of the role of the coach, general manager, and top player on the court, like he did in Cleveland, with the Lakers. And now they're going to look up to him and say, all right, let's just pass it to him. Give LeBron the ball. He'll truck in and get easy points.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I think it's tough, too, because when I look at the Cleveland Cavaliers roster that he had, and during the playoffs, he's kicking it out to guys like Kevin Love and J.R. Smith. And they're not hitting shots.
No, that's true.
So I think at times I got to take control.
Right.
Now, granted, I agree with you. The Los Angeles Lakers are not a good three-point shooting team. So I think he's going to be a lot more of a post-type player this season.
Right.
So that could bring more on-ball kind of dominance. I'm going to control the ball because no one else can shoot on that team. Moving on to number 3, the Utah Jazz.
Wow.
I'm a big believer in the Utah Jazz. They're definitely going to go to the Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors.
Wow, over the Lakers.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I love their team. Donovan Mitchell's a star.
Yeah.
He was a star when he was a rookie. I love the addition of Grayson Allen.
Oh, jeez.
I was a fan of Grayson Allen in college.
He looks like Ted Cruz.
He does look like Ted Cruz. I was a big believer in him. I believe that he's going to bring grit to that team that they need. He's going to get people angry. He's going to get people upset, kind of like Ricky Rubio last year against Westbrook. Yeah. I think he's going to be a really good addition. Unfortunately, people don't like Grayson Allen because he's a dirty player. Yeah, he is. I want more dirty players in the NBA. I think the NBA's gotten soft, to be honest.
You just want blood.
No blood, no foul.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, I really like the Utah Jazz. Quinn Snyder, Coach of the Year. He's always a Coach of the Year contender. Anyways, number 2 and number 1, pretty obvious. But number 2 is the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, they're going to be a contender for the next 4 years.
Definitely.
One can make an argument they could win this year, the championship, now that the Golden State Warriors are getting a little bit tired of being so dominant.
Maybe.
And that goes along with my saying of the Warriors breaking up after the season and Kevin Durant leaving or Klay Thompson leaving because it's getting too easy for them. Now, granted, maybe they really are leadership, but I feel when you have that many stars on a team and people aren't getting as many looks as they're used to, like with Kevin Durant coming, Klay Thompson's getting less looks, for example. They might dissemble, and that's when the Celtics, slide in there and take over.
Yeah, it's big for the program.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if they could slide in, that would be pretty huge. I do think that I don't know if I do see the argument that Durant will go to the Knicks.
Okay.
Just to get a new challenge. Although, why would he leave Oklahoma City to go to the Warriors if he really wanted a challenge? If you want a challenge, you get the Oklahoma City Thunder to the finals.
That's true.
And to the championship. So I don't see him leaving. I think there's more in that. Now, if you want to talk about an ego-driven player, that's definitely Kevin Durant. You don't move when the pay cap was raised. That's a whole different discussion. But I see him staying. I think Steph made the point that this is his home, is L.A. And so, or wherever.
Oakland,
Yeah, Oakland, and so he. So I see him probably staying there. So who knows?
Who knows? I would have a lot more respect for Kevin Durant if he left went to a mediocre team
Right.
and at least brought them deep into the
He
playoffs.
could go to the Grizzlies.
I don't know about that. All right, moving on to number 1. We have the Golden State Warriors. That's a gimme.
Yeah.
I don't really nothing to say about that.
No, I mean they are the best team.
That's
mean,
right. Yeah.
It's crazy. Look at who they picked up in the postseason. Golden, it's blanking on me. Of course, always blanks on me. Roster.
Well, they did make some few changes. They got rid of JaVale.
Yeah, it's DeMarcus Cousins. I mean, come on, that was.
Yeah.
Look at
he's not coming back till mid-end season, right?
I think so. Yeah, it wasn't even.
And DeMarcus Cousins is one of those players where I do not see him fitting into that roster. They are a pass-first team, and DeMarcus Cousins, I think, is not going to like that.
Yeah.
And, obviously he went to the Warriors to win a ring.
Right.
That's pretty obvious.
That's pretty obvious. Well, look, you have Curry, Durant, Cousins, Thompson, Green, and Iguodala. Damian Jones. God, their core is just nuts.
Oh, their starting five is the best in the league.
Oh my God, it's the best in the
And
league.
their bench is even. Their bench isn't as great as it used to be 2 years ago, but they have great 6 players in Andre Iguodala, for example.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Alrighty. After this quick music break, I'm going to be breaking down a new option for prospective high school players that might be pretty incentivizing instead of going to the league. We'll be right back on First Stop. Alrighty, hope you enjoyed that music break. We are back here, WZBC Newton, First Stop, every Saturday, 9 a.m. You know where to find us. All right, so I heard that there's this new rule in the NBA, or the NBA G League, I should say, that next year, the top high school prospects will have the opportunity to play 1 year in the league, 1 year at college, do a one and done, or stay there for 4 years, but usually it's a one and done, or opt to play in the NBA G League for a year and get paid $125,000. Now, in the article, they quoted that only a very specific group of players will be invited and that they're going to be receiving both basketball training and life skills in the program. And those players in the G League are also open to accepting endorsement deals like with Nike, Adidas, get those contracts early in, even more money. Now, when I was thinking about this, I was going back and forth, but in the end, I realized that I'm not a fan of this new opportunity for players. It's going to hurt the NCAA, one, because March Madness ratings are going to go down, because when you see top players like in last year's high school, like Mac McClung, like blanking out I'm blanking out other teams or players. But when you see these top high school prospects not going to the G League, which is like an underground, quiet league that no one even knows where to find the games to watch,
Right.
and they opt out of the college experience where you're a star and you are the highlight of campus and you make ESPN news article titles. I just don't see them skipping out on that. What do you think?
So I didn't read the article, and I'm kind of interested. Do you think that this is two things? Do you think, one, that this is the NBA trying to shift focus away from college to go more towards the NBA to get ratings up, on a cynical note? Or do you think, two, that this is to cut down on the kind of corruption charges in the NCAA? Because if that's the case, then this may work. Yeah. Because you have a thing here, should college players get paid? And I would arguably say no. I affirmatively say no. I mean, college is for education, not for sports.
That's right.
That's obviously a different discussion. But do you think that kind of it's the NBA's way of getting people to cut down on the corruption of secretly gifting people cars and vacations and stuff like that so that their kid can come to their college? If that's the case, then that's awesome, because that corruption is
makes it more balanced in the NCAA.
Right, and that's the thing is it goes back to what I was saying, is college should be for education and academics first, then sports. And I think we've switched this for one reason, because sports brings in a lot of revenue and gives schools a lot of money, and then they can use that to create endowments and kind of run the school. The day-to-day operations are paid by the sports. Yeah. So I get that, but it's totally switched. I mean, look at what colleges add. First, they add sports arenas. They don't add science labs. They don't add money to certain departments. So that's obviously my personal opinion about sports and college and the shift. But I think the G League could offer kind of a new way for venting that corruption off. If people want to get paid, don't pay them in college. Pay them when in a legitimate role, which is the G League.
That's right. I think that the whole idea of this new G League program was to polish players, right?
Yeah.
So when you see one and done players, it takes them, I would say, at minimum 3 years to really get adjusted to the NBA.
True.
And start performing like scouts have predicted them to be.
Yeah.
So when you go into the G League and you're playing with guys who are much older and who used to be in the NBA and maybe fell off or trying to get in the NBA, so it's much more competitive. I think that's going to make them a little bit more polished when they come into the league.
Yeah.
So I think that was maybe the big primary motive. Now, understandingly, there could be a much, underlying idea to it of trying to stop some corruption.
Yeah. I think that's maybe that's not their motive. I think probably it's more towards what you're saying. But I'm saying because look at all these scandals. They want to legitimize the NCAA in college basketball. They want to be marred in scandal every other week, and so you shift it towards kind of that role.
And they're also saying on the Sports Illustrated article, quote, it says, players will receive financial literacy instruction, post-care planning, and other practical basic business lessons for players who choose this path. I think that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, no, it is.
Because you see a lot of players that come into the league, and a lot of them don't know how to handle that $1 million contract.
Right, yeah.
So they're going to go ahead and invest it in these big mansions and this big life of an NBA player when really you should be, being responsible with that and investing because your career could end like that with an ACL tear or something.
Yeah, true.
So,
Yeah, that's what I wondered is what you just said. I was wondering if they had serious problems that we just don't know about with, players really going rock bottom with, drug addiction or, opulence and stuff like that. So they want to say, let's train them on how to live a responsible life because of the big, when you get hit with a rookie contract, that's star shock.
Absolutely.
You've never seen that type of money. Now you do. And so maybe it is more or less that type of, that polishment for, polishing to make them a much better player so they don't get injured, they don't do stupid things, and the league gets better as a whole. But also so that outside the league, when they're, back at home and off the court, they're also more kind of a better holistic person.
Yeah, that's right. Alrighty, so moving on to the MLB.
Yeah.
I'm not, all I heard around campus was cheers throughout campus.
Yeah.
So break down what the Red Sox did.
Yeah, so the Red Sox beat the Astros Game 5 of the ALCS. They won the pennant. Red Sox won the pennant. Yeah. Congratulations to the Red Sox. Obviously, I love the Indians, but Astros were a better team, and the Red Sox were a much better team. The Red Sox are an amazing team this year. Their core is very solid. They had the most wins this year. They got to 100 wins, the fastest. So I think they will have a very... Now, going off of that, the LA Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers are in the NL. The Brewers just forced a Game 7, so now the series against the Dodgers is tied 3-3. Who do I think will pull that out? I think the Brewers will. The Dodgers are a very solid team. I think the Brewers, they'll have a lot more momentum. Obviously, winning and forcing a Game 7 gives a lot more momentum. But I think it will be Red Sox, Brewers, World Series, and Red Sox will win easily. The AL is way too easy, or way too hard. The AL has all these star players. It's kind of like the West in the NBA. AL is a much better core. The NL is still good, but the Red Sox versus the Brewers, Red Sox versus Dodgers, Red Sox take it. Yeah. Or look at the playoff rankings with the AL. You had the Astros, who are arguably one of the toughest teams out there. Red Sox obviously beat them.
Yeah.
The Indians, solid core. The Yankees. Red Sox obviously. So it's these teams are amazing in the AL. NL not bad, but I can see. I'm predicting Red Sox beat the Brewers, World Series. What
games?
Game? I don't know. That's a good point. I bet you it goes to 6.
6? Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying 6. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not a big baseball fan, but I was watching the highlights of the game, and David Price.
So he's
unreal.
Yeah, well, he's one of the worst pitchers in the postseason. He actually held that title for a while.
Yeah.
And he kind of clinched it, so that's at least good. He kind of got that up. Benintendi with the insane catches. One from he plays in the left field. Right field. I forget what he plays. But he had these amazing catches that really kind of secured their win. And obviously Mookie Betts is just an amazing hitter. Jackie Bradley Jr., unreal hitter. Yeah, their whole team is just great. I mean, and it goes back to what I was saying a few weeks ago with the MLB is shifting toward teams are shifting to more of a speed and RBI hitter than a large, strong slugger. And we've seen this shift, and I think the Red Sox encapsulate that. They are fast, they get on base, and they have a lot of RBI hitters. They don't focus on slugging. Like the Aaron Judges are very, very rare. The Mike Trouts are very, very rare, and teams are shifting towards the Mookie Betts of the world, the Jose Ramirez's of the world, and the Francisco Lindors. So that's a really cool development for the league, and we're seeing that it really works well. So
yeah. So I'm more of an NBA guy, as you guys could probably tell. Now, when I'm watching the NBA, it's very team-based. If you got a good core, you're going to be good for a while. Yeah. You see that with the Warriors. You're going to see that with the Celtics upcoming. Is that going to be similar with the Red Sox? Are they going to be dominant for like the next few years, or does it switch? You know, from Chicago when the Cubs won in 2016, we're like they're back and they haven't won. You know, since. I mean, they've been a good team, but we thought they were going to contend every single year.
Well, I saw a chart one time that broke down basically luck in sports and raw skill. And while there's a lot of luck in every single sport, like the correlation isn't there. Hockey is the one that has the most luck associated with it. So teams like the Predators this year could be, this year we're not that great. And then you had the Capitals. Maybe this year they won't be that great. Maybe they will be. It's a lot of randomness in hockey. Baseball is very similar that way. You have certain sports like basketball, football, that are far more skills oriented, less luck oriented. So the teams don't concentrate. You don't have teams, these dynasty teams that keep winning and winning and winning and getting all these great players, or attracting great players. So hockey, baseball, it'd be pretty cool if the Red Sox are dominant for the next, because we're living in Boston. It'd be pretty cool to have a winning team here. But I don't see it as being that huge. The Red Sox have been consistently a solid organization throughout their history, but there hasn't been a string of times where they've just been dominant, like the Warriors or the Cavaliers or the Heat, or all these like dynasty teams. So hockey same way.
Okay,
but
yeah.
Let's do a quick music break, then we'll be back for the news. Keep it locked and rocking. All right, welcome back. Time for some news headlines. The following news headlines do not suggest a bias on behalf of WZBC or WVBC under any circumstances. The following is for educational purposes only. If any opinion is expressed in the following, they are not reflective of WZBC or WVBC respectively. Now for this week's headlines. A Russian national has been charged with her interference in the 2016 and 2018 elections. She was tied to the Russian troll farm that influenced the social media platforms of Twitter and Facebook. President Trump has said that he may deploy the military to the southern border to prevent the crossing of large Guatemalan migrants wave that is heading north now through Mexico. Yesterday evening, there were reports that migrants tore down the border gate in southern Mexico and are heading north towards the U.S. border. The president is pressuring Congress to act before this becomes a calamity. The midterm is coming up in less than 2.5 weeks. On Real Clear Politics, the GOP is projected to keep the Senate, with more races becoming a toss-up than before. The House is projected to be taken by the Democrats by a margin of 7.2%. Both parties have seen a substantial increase in funding after the Kavanaugh hearings. Some argue this may be the largest turnout for a midterm in over 50 years, with the lowest turnout in 2010. The very troubling story of the Saudi Arabian journalist took another turn when the NSA said they may be tracking the journalist's Apple Watch to see if he was tortured and murdered. Saudi Arabia is said to publish an official statement sometime soon. This morning, breaking, they published that he was in fact killed. No additional details were given. The story is still developing. 20 people were killed this week in a Crimean school shooting in Russia. The shooter, an 18-year-old male, walked up and down the corridors and opened fire. The Kremlin blamed the shooting on the corrupting Western influence and the globalizing world of post-Columbine. Other Russian media echoed the same sentiment. The U.S. fired back, some media saying, no, this is just shooting in general. On Tuesday late, Canada had legalized possession of cannabis, recreational cannabis, the second country after Uruguay to do so. Now for some fun and happy news. because we need some of that.
Yeah.
Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, is expecting a baby in the spring. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl. Just a baby in the spring. This was announced as the royal couple began their Australian tour. I do believe it's customary for newlyweds in the royal family to do the Commonwealth tour,
Yes.
which includes going to Australia, colonies in Africa, Canada, and I believe they always stop in the U.S. I know Queen Elizabeth did that as well. So they're starting that. Pretty cool. And then finally, this is interesting. New York City finally fixed a name of the bridge that had been a typo for 50 years.
Geez.
The name was the Verrazano Bridge, which has been spelled wrong since it was built in 1960. It was named for the explorer Giovanni da Verrazzano with 2 Z's, the first European conqueror to set sail to New York Harbor in 1524. They did not add a second Z to the name until, I think, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
And so now Mayor Cuomo signed the bill to add an additional Z back in.
There you
Like,
go.
who was the guy that said,
Why'd they wait so long?
why'd they wait so long, and who was the guy that accidentally typed it? I mean, that's a blunder.
Yeah.
So, all right, we will be back after one song. Keep it locked and rocking. All right, welcome back, everyone. So today we don't have a guest in our third block, unfortunately, because today is the Wells Crowther 5K, the red bandana run.
Right.
So a lot of the people we wanted to come on could not come on, but they'll be on next week.
That's right.
So
Next week will be the Halloween.
Halloween
and
special.
It's gonna be really exciting.
Really spooky.
There you go. All right, so to fill this block, our third block, we are going to be doing the random generator wheel.
Yeah.
We're going to bring this back. Not bring it back. This is the first time doing it.
Time we're doing it.
It's still early in the morning. Anyways, we're going to be doing this first time today, and in the future, we're going to keep it going. We're going to throw in some random questions in there, answer for you guys. All right, first question.
Spin the wheel. And the question is, does a person's name influence the person they become? Wow, that's deep for the first
very
one.
deep. Wow.
I would argue no. I think
Yeah.
you could name, I mean, look at like a name like Clarence, and you would be like, wow, that's a very old name. But you have Clarence Thomas, the guy in the Supreme Court. You have, who else has a very odd, Lindsey Graham. I mean, so like you have names that aren't probably the best sounding name. I mean, a man named Lindsey. But he's, South Carolina senator. So I would say no.
I'll say no too, but I would say maybe when you grow older and you get some cognitive skills and you see people with your same name
True.
in the past or present, maybe you're influenced by it.
It's possible.
That's just a curve. Like I have no. I'm
Yeah,
just pulling
that's.
that
I think
back out of
you may be
nowhere.
way off on that. No,
Yeah, might as well. Alrighty, next question.
No, yeah. I mean,
Maybe.
it's debatable.
Alrighty. If you could eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Probably breakfast. Huge breakfast guy.
Well, like, what were we talking about? Breakfast? Eggs? Pancakes?
Everything. And when you think of
Anything.
breakfast, I think of eggs. You have pancakes. You have bacon. You have sausage, with ketchup, obviously.
It's an all-around meal.
It is, with some dry rye toast
Oh, wow.
and black coffee. That's kind of all I would eat, like forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
I would say breakfast too, but I was thinking of like grilled chicken or something, but that would get bored
But
after 2 days.
we eat that every day, every
I know,
night
'cause
for
that's
dinner.
the only clean thing that BC serves, really.
Right.
Unfortunately.
At BC. No, and well, it's also the cheapest thing they serve too.
Yeah.
$16 for salmon. That's for a piece of salmon. That's like 4 ounces.
I think it's tough because the food that you like the best, you get sick of after 2 days.
Yeah.
Like pizza or like spaghetti or something.
True.
You know.
That's true. I mean, that is a tough question because, like,
Yeah.
what situation would you be given breakfast all the time? Like, what kind of jigsaw type thing is that? All right, next
one.
spin. Hopefully, it's something like good.
A little bit more.
Oh yeah, I like this one.
If you were sponsored by an athletic company for our undeniably great athletic abilities,
Undeniable.
Under Armour, Nike, or Adidas?
I would have to say Adidas.
I'm an Under Armour guy.
Yeah, see, I don't like Nike. I wear Nike shoes, but
I used to be a Nike, but yeah, not anymore.
Not anymore now. They're just, but I think Adidas's stuff, they've shifted. I mean, Nike kind of dominated the shoe market and to their avail. Adidas is like, okay, if we can't beat them there, let's beat them other ways. And they're shifting towards definitely a kind of new look.
Yeah.
And I like their new look. It's cool. And it's also a German company. I like Adidas.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Also, Under Armour got really lucky with all their signings.
Yeah.
Like Jordan Spieth blew up.
Yep.
Stephen Curry blew up.
Right.
I mean, so
Yeah, and their stuff is pretty good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Their shoes, I mean, I actually wear Under Armour shoes. I mean, they're right, but I think their apparel is really good. So
Okay.
that's why I'm.
Yeah, no, I have
Under Armour.
a few shirts from Under Armour. What type of music would you like to see gone from the earth? Wow, that is quite aggressive. I don't know. You go first.
I'm really open to anything. I wouldn't say like classical or any stuff like that.
Yeah, you
like
better not.
I like that type of music. It's not boring to me. Honestly, if I'm gonna be honest, I'm sorry to our correspondent and you, Eric, but it would probably be like
Metal. Wow.
metal music. I just don't get it, man. I mean, it gets you pumped up, but like the lyrics and like
No,
the screeching
it's
and like everything.
It is an acquired taste.
Yeah.
I can see that. It is. It's like coffee or licorice. It's an acquired taste.
yeah.
Yes. I don't know. What would I wish? I don't know. I've never been a fan until recently of like 1970s soul or R&B. Just never really been a fan of that type of music. I know it's very specific, but it's just like I went to a mission trip once in South Dakota, and that's all they played. And it was just it was like, okay. I mean, I wouldn't say to make it gone from the earth. That's kind of aggressive. I just choose not to listen to it.
Yeah.
If I could have a music that's gone from the earth.
Let's say you never hear again.
Never hear again. Probably that, or like you have like the Cardi B's of the world. Their music for me is just I don't know what it is. It's just not good. It's not good music. It's not wholesome.
I know. I think the music now is like
it's so degenerate. It's so bad.
Lyrics that partially make sense and throw like a sick beat over it.
Yeah, that's all. It's about a bass line, and that's really it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
So last question. I like this. Another company loyalty question: Apple, Samsung, or Windows?
Apple. I mean,
Apple.
I own an iPhone, a MacBook, an Apple Watch. I've had iPhones my entire life. Because I think I had a Nokia flip. I was the coolest kid on the block. But how about you?
I've been on both the dark and light side. I had a Samsung phone for a while, and I just recently switched to Apple. Samsung is a lot more underrated. Like a lot of the features that Samsung has developed was before Apple.
Yeah.
But because the market for Apple is so much bigger, everybody
my God.
assumes that they're the first one.
Yep.
And the thing that I like about Samsung is that they change their design with every single upgrade.
Yeah,
So
true.
you're either getting a curved screen, a bigger phone, the software itself just looks different. Like
Right.
with Apple, it looks the exact same with the Square apps,
Right.
background the same. But Apple, the reason I switched was because it was just tough messaging people in group chats.
Yeah, no, that is true. The green versus the blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think also Samsung. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm just such an Apple fanboy. No, I wouldn't say fanboy. I there's things Apple does that I don't like.
Yeah.
Monopolizing the market is not one thing I just don't like.
Yeah.
When you're making $1,200 phones, I'm sorry, but that's just not great.
Agreed.
Anyways, their style is so much more aesthetic than the Samsung.
Clean.
It's clean, yeah, and I think they nailed that from the get-go. And
yeah.
I think that's why they haven't changed it. There was an article I read that, real quick, that all these phone companies, every time they release a new phone, whether it's Apple, Samsung, or Windows, it's every September, they look the same. What does that show us? That shows us that looks now have reached kind of their high point, and now companies are going to focus to software, hardware, battery life, power, general capabilities, and cameras. And that's where smartphones are going to shift. It's not going to be on like size, because I mean the new iPhone is just ridiculously large.
Yeah.
I could never like handle that. It's just too big.
And I was thinking about the process we've made in technology of small is really good.
Small and fast.
Small and fast. Now it's big and powerful.
Right.
And I don't know if we're going to switch back to small. I don't know if we're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. There's a funny picture online of an Apple phone. It's like the Apple iPhone 12.
Yeah.
And it's just like
A
super
lightsaber.
skinny, a lightsaber, and like 12 feet tall.
Yeah.
So
It could go that way. I don't know whose pockets it would fit in, but
Yeah,
it'd be
I don't know.
pretty impressive.
Alrighty, so we're going to do a quick music break. And then we're going to unfortunately get to the conclusion of this show.
Talk about some plans for upcoming shows. Welcome back after that great music break.
Yeah.
So we have to wrap it up today a little bit shorter because, and we're going to talk about this, SoundCloud puts a limit of how much.
Yep, 3 hours.
3 hours of content before you have to purchase. They have to make money. So we may be switching platforms in the future.
That's correct.
We will let you know. Check us out on Instagram.
Yep.
Email us at firststopofficial@gmail.com. That is firststopofficial@gmail.com. SoundCloud is the exact same, and our Instagram is the exact same. Please check all that out. For any updates, if we are going to switch platforms, we'll let you know.
That's right. So, preview for the next show, next Saturday, we will be having a guest on.
2 guests, maybe.
2 guests, maybe. We're going to keep them on the down low, but they're going to be really good guests. It's going to be a sports-centered show.
Oh, it's going to be all sports.
They are our head sports analysts on the show.
Head sports.
So look forward to that. Halloween special. We're going to dress up, have a really good Instagram post for there that's going to blow up.
Right. The music will be all Halloween themed.
That's right.
So please submit any good Halloween music.
That's right.
Might play some metal.
Yep.
Because it's spooky.
Might as well. Freaks me out. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining First Stop. Catch us next week at 9 a.m. on WVBC with a whole new special guest. See you
at the next stop.